9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Week 5 of the Hold Your Brakes Academy is upon us, and we're already starting the second half. We're right back to where we were less than 5 weeks ago at Daytona International Speedway. I'm Joshua King. With me, as always, in the booth tonight is Matt Drafty Beef Everard. Drafty, we're back at Daytona. Just mentioned it. We get the second half going tonight. What do you want to see, or what do you expect to see from these drivers this evening?
I expect to see a lot smarter racing this time around, honestly. They've run through the first series of these tracks. So now this is the second time that they'll be coming back here. And so I'm really looking to see who has really improved and hopefully see some great green flag racing here tonight.
I'm hoping to see that too. You know, one thing that we've been missing consistently, in my opinion, in this league through the first half, one, the long green flag runs, right? Two, the green flag finishes. I'm hoping that changes in the second half.
I agree. I have the utmost faith in these drivers. I know they've been working hard, they've been practicing, and I just have a feeling they're going to put on a great show for us tonight.
I hope so, and I know they're probably excited to be back here after their issues at iRacing Super Speedway a week ago. Man, it was extremely loose on that high line. Such a unique track. Now we're back at the legendary, if you will, Daytona International Speedway. Of course, everyone knows that track handles a lot better, right?
Yeah, a lot easier to drive from the iRacing Super Speedway. There's not as many bumps either. So I know that was a lot of last week. I had hopped in every week. They do a little race review afterwards, and I actually hopped in with them for a bit this week. And that was a big topic that I did here was those bumps that were going into the corners would upset the cars quite a bit.
Yeah, it was very common. The air was messing them up, the bumps in the track. I mean, it was so weird. That was our first time ever there, right? You and I. And to have 5 or 6 lanes almost, I mean, it was so bizarre how wide it is in the corners. But onward we go as we take a look at your conditions for the track this evening. 78 degrees is the temperature outside here in Daytona Beach, Florida. 45% humidity. That's pretty low for Florida. Clear skies, low winds, and then the track temp also 78 degrees. So cooler track, that should make it easier as well for these guys to be able to wheel this car around the track. What do you think?
Yeah, I think so. It looks like we might even get a little. Looks like the sun is setting here at Daytona, so we probably get to see some action under the lights tonight, I'd imagine.
We might. That would be exciting. We are just about 10 minutes away from taking the green flag. Let's go trackside now and remind everybody that this is an open qualifying. So they have a half an hour to practice and qualify, which we've talked about, Drafty, a lot of times, how it really uh, not separates things, but mixes things up every single week about who's starting at the front and who's in the back.
Yeah, the timed races definitely adds a unique factor to a super speedway in general. If you pit at the wrong time, it could really mess up your whole entire race.
Yeah, it certainly can. You never know with the hour. As right now, we take a look at Thomas Osborne. He's sitting first quick on the board in your open qualifying in the 57 there you see on your screen. Quick time of a 48.09, followed by William Martin. He is running a 48.74. So nearly a second there, Drafty, between first and second. Obviously, that's probably something to do with draft.
Yeah, definitely. As these guys are out with an open qualifying, if you can get a good little pack of cars together and kind of trade off, you'll get the faster times than someone running by themselves. That's for sure.
Right. As now on your screen, you do see the 55 of William Martin out of Atlanta, Georgia, repping the Georgia Bulldogs paint scheme there on the Toyota Supra.
Sir.
Drafty, who you want to take a look at, man? I think we're
Woo.
starting to get to know all these drivers and paints. Oh, that's our favorite one.
There we go, Steve Harrison.
We still haven't spoken to Mr. Harrison. He's never in the group chat.
Actually, now that you bring it up, he did message me the other day, and I believe he said, who, oh my gosh, now I feel bad, I can't remember, who made it, Rob Higgs, I believe.
Okay, all right. So we might have to get with Rob Higgs. We know him a little bit.
Yes, sir.
Right on. Well, that's cool. They'll love that one.
See, let's check out the 53 of Robert Minor. The
Another college.
classic black and red with the stripe there. I like it. Simple.
Yeah. We have two battling college paint schemes in here. We just went from the University of Georgia. Now we're at South Carolina. Both black and red. Mr. Minor and William Martin.
Hopefully that doesn't come out on the track tonight.
Yeah, who knows? Those wheels make that stand out. Oh, here's a good one. There's something added to this one. This is, of course, another sports team, the Oklahoma City Thunder NBA basketball team. I don't recall the basketball being on the side of it, though, before.
I don't either, and I'm really digging that, to be honest. That looks super nice.
Yeah, that's really cool. That's Tristan Minor. So the son of Robbie Minor in the 22 there. Very nice. That paint gets better every week. Oh, there he is. 60 of Shane King. No numbers on the car.
Nope, and I just made this paint for him, and he said he wanted a sim stamped number, and he went and I bet he uploaded it to the custom number instead.
He may have. Nice looking paint either way, though. PGHA Designs, Royalty Motorsports, Ford Mustang for Shane King. Speaking of which, let's get Shane in here. Shane had a big week, right?
Yeah, he sure did.
Let's get him in here and talk to him real quick. Shane, of course, raced in the Daytona 24 hours, and now mere 48 hours later, he's back at the Oval racing again. Shane, Joshua up in the booth. You got a copy, bud?
Yeah, I got you guys, man. Yeah, I've already made an announcement that the one rule for tonight is whatever you do, don't make me have to turn the wheel to the right, because I've turned right at this track repeatedly for the last couple weeks, and I'm done turning right here for a while.
Yeah, we just mentioned, we were like, man, he's back at Daytona right away. Obviously, you made the schedule, so that's kind of funny. But, I mean, congrats on running the 24, but on top of that, getting to finish it, experience the full 24 hours. What was that like for you and your team?
Oh man, it was an awesome experience all the way around. I mean, I didn't go into it with any expectations. It was my first 24, and actually out of the 6 drivers we had, 4 of us, it was our first 24 hours. So it was our goal, my personal goal was to do everything in my power when I was driving the car to make sure that I handed it off to the next guy clean and in good shape, and just to get it to the checkers. And we accomplished that.
You certainly did. And I watched one full stint of yours. The first one, of course. I definitely was not up at 5 in the morning or 4 in the morning, your time, whatever it was, to watch the second one. But yeah, heck of a drive from you, the whole team. JD Van Kirk, some guys, Joe, what's his last name?
Healy.
Help me. Keeley, thank you, Drafty. But yeah, some recognized guys here around sim racing and iRacing. And congrats to you guys, man. That's really awesome. I'm glad you got to participate. Let's move forward now to what's about to take place here in less than 5 minutes. This was where it all began for the Hold Your Brakes Academy. You got the win. You gonna follow that up tonight?
I'm gonna try. Somebody's got to start putting up a fight for the points lead and stop letting Ryan just walk away with this thing. So I already told him I'm gonna quit trying to play in traffic, and I'm heading to the front and trying to stay there.
That's fair, man. You do something really well that is a struggle to do at super speedways. And we've talked about it a little bit before, but you sit in the back a lot. You're very patient, and then you wait for your time to pounce, if you will, and then you're at the front putting yourself in position to win. Is that the same game plan tonight, or are you going to switch it up?
No, because it seems like, I mean, honestly, it seems to not matter where I'm at. Trouble's gonna brew. It's just kind of how the racing gods treat me. But I I do have a tendency to sit in the back and just log laps, and the whole time I'm back there, I'm kind of analyzing, and I kind of wait for an opening where, because you can't jump out by yourself if you don't have a place to jump back in. So you got to kind of leapfrog when the opportunities come. But tonight, I think I'm going to the front and doing everything in my power to stay there. They're gonna have to work hard to get around this 60 car.
All right, there we go, folks. You heard it directly from Shane himself. He's going to go to the front and try to keep her there. Shane, thanks for joining us, bud. We know you got a race starting here in about 2 minutes. Best of luck tonight.
All right, man. Thanks, guys.
Yes, sir. Once again, folks, that was the driver of the number 60 car. That's Shane King. And as you see, Drafty right now, he is 9th quick. So middle of the pack, kind of in the hornet's nest.
Yep. Yeah, that's not where I like to be, that's for sure. Oh, I think we just see him hop up to second place. Never mind.
That's his pops, actually. Don King.
Oh,
Don King sitting second quick right now in the 70. However, the 60 did move up. He's 4th quick now. So that's a little more comfortable. Right now, that would put father-son starting side by side.
now that is pretty neat. We'll have to see how that would play out. I know there might be a little hard feelings from a team race that happened about a week ago, but we won't bring that up. No.
Of course, Drafty is alluding to our Royalty Motorsports team race. No hard feelings, purely messing around, joking. But man, that was a lot of fun. Let's take a look at a couple more cars here. Ryan Perone Sr. is your points leader, and he's right behind the 60 right now. There he is in the pink and black. Look Good Racing 50 Toyota. Man, I mean, Shane mentioned it, Drafty. He's been so good. He has 2 wins in the first 4 races, all top 5s.
Yeah, and he stayed out of trouble, which has given him a lot of bonus points as well.
Yeah, he's crushing, man. I mean, if you can be as consistent as he has been in super speedways every week, like, you're going to be really, really hard to beat.
Yes, sir. Let's hop on board now. Not on board. Let's take a look at 115, the Aaron Genske, who is sitting mid-pack right now, 8th quick from Partyville, Wisconsin. Gotta shout out Wisconsin, Scotty boy myself. You know, he's had a lot of good runs throughout these races where I feel like he could be a contender, but unfortunately he just kind of got caught up in some wrecks the past few weeks. So hopefully he can stay out of them this week and get a good finish, because I know he's capable of it.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, Genske's spent a ton of time at the front of the pack, and then unfortunately just had a lot of trouble that he's found. Now, coincidentally, side note, Perone Sr. goes to the top of the board. He's on pole right now. Shane King 2nd, Don King starting 3rd.
Oh my goodness, what a shake up there in the closing laps of qualifying here. As qualifying is finishing up.
Yeah.
Oh my
That
goodness.
was that whole pack that we were watching there. That's funny. Very funny. One person not to put in a time on the grid so far. David Chapman Jr. in the 88 did not make a time. Folks, qualifying has finished / practice, and we will have the starting grid for you here momentarily as soon as it's available. Comment in chat who you think is going to win this one as we go through your grid.
Yeah, I am pulling for Shane for this race. I like to see him get out there, get both the Daytona wins. All right, let's see here. Maybe we have our grid info. Yes, we do. Take it away, Josh.
Right on, Drafty. Appreciate that. Starting on the pole is the number 50 points leader, Luck Good Racing Toyota, Ryan Perone Sr. Next to him on the outside is the number 60 of Shane King. Spoke to him just a moment ago. Right behind them, starting third, is going to be the 70 of Don King. That's Shane's Pops. And Tristan Miner is going to roll off fourth in the 22. Thomas Osborne in the 57 will start fifth. William Martin in the 55 will start sixth. Drafty?
Coming in 7th place, we have the number 20 of Justin Terry. And to his outside, the number 115 of Aaron Genske. We were just talking about him. 9th place, Zach White in the 77. And 10th place is going to be Kelly Akron in the 19. 11th place is going to be Robert Miner in the 53. And to his outside in 12th is going to be Jorge Ledesma Jr. in that number 13. Going right on down to 13th place is going to be Robert Altman in the 94. And to his outside in the 51, P14, Steve Harrison. Josh?
Rounding us out on the final two rows, starting in 15th is going to be the 218 of Joe Thomas in that beautiful pinup for vets.com machine. Then Drafty Beef is not making the start tonight, but on the outside of Mr. Thomas is going to be the 88 of David Chapman Jr., electing to not qualify or practice in the CL Racing Chevy. Drafty, before they get rolling here, let's take a look at the 94 of Robert Altman. He was in our chat briefly. Shout out to Mr. Altman. He also ran the Daytona 24 hours.
I will get a view on him as soon as he gets on track here. Still has yet to roll off a pit lane. Here we go.
There he
Ooh.
be in the McDonald's Ford. So shout out to him. He also was in the Daytona 24. That's very good. He made a joke in chat. He said, I almost made a left turn coming out of pits. That's very cool. Funny. But then also shout out to Mr. Derek Catt. Welcome in. And Shane hanging out with us a little bit pre-race. Looks like a new paint scheme for the 94 of Altman this week, Drafty.
Yeah, the McDonald's, the anime McDonald's, really digging that. You know, you can't go wrong with McDonald's as a quick place to go stop and eat.
Yeah, that's pretty cool, man. Well, they're going to be green here momentarily as these parade laps around Daytona, only one of them, they go in a hurry. So we'll let Drafty take us to green here at Daytona.
Sir, one of my places to watch racing, I'm not going to lie. The racing's always intense. The wrecks are normally pretty huge. I mean, I know some people don't like to see wrecks, but it adds to the excitement of everything. And keep in mind, this is virtual, so no one's going to get hurt. But we are going to hop up here with Barney. As we can see them coming out of turn 4 now, the iRacing.com pace car will dip into pit lane. And the 50 of Ryan Perone Sr. will get us going here at Daytona. The green is out. Let's see who is going to conquer the battlefield known as Daytona. Turn them up and let's listen to them fly on by.
Yeah, I mean, he did exactly what he wanted to do. He qualified outside pole. Now he's got his pops pushing him right behind. You got to believe there's some chemistry there, but Ryan Perone Sr. leads the way for now. Yeah, Drafty, that's something I was going to point out and say earlier. I want to see patience from these guys tonight. Realize, hey, we got an hour to go, super speedway race. I'm going to settle in and let things happen as it plays out. Yeah, I like what I'm seeing right now. I haven't seen a ton of bump drafting. There hasn't been a ton of side drafting, as now, as I say that, the 60 pulls very close to the 22, but very spread out throughout the whole field, probably half a car length in between each car.
Yeah, nothing too close right now, but that side draft that we're gonna see these drivers when it starts getting towards the end, we'll see them a lot closer together on these back stretches and front stretches, and I have to see. Oh, as we see, I see the 22 of Tristan Miner gets loose down on the apron. Oh, and now they are wrecking some other cars. Let's see what happened there. Let's go back and look here. So we see the 22 kind of gets loose there. 70 gets, it looks like it happens simultaneously. Few cars. We see the 70 got up in the wall, the 115 as well. Lots of cars collected here in this one. Oh my gosh, let's look back at the 115 right now. He's going down the track as well. Let's rewind and see what happened to him as well. So he just got up in the wall there and nowhere for anyone really to go, as we see lots of cars collected. I have to imagine we'll see lots of cars coming down pit lane here for that one.
Yeah, interesting incident there, Drafty. At first, when I saw them start to wreck, based off, what we're able to see from the camera shot, I thought maybe the 22 had like re-entered, come back up track. Not the case though. Then two separate incidents of the 70 of Don King kind of scraping the wall, coming back down, and then the 115, same thing, scraping the wall, and Kelly Akron in the 19, nowhere to go when he came back down. So interesting first caution there.
Yeah, and I have to wonder if I think maybe the 115 moved up the track a bit because he saw the 22 coming down, was maybe anticipating him coming back up track, and that might have just kind of caused a whole little accordion effect there, unfortunately.
Right, and a lot of cars down pit road, not all of them due to damage, I'd have to imagine, but let's see, sixth on back.
Yeah, there was
down pit road, Drafty.
A lot of cars were involved in that. I do think most of these might actually be from damage of some form or another.
Yeah, that's true. Now, look at this. Guess who lucked out, though? It's the 22 of Tristan Miner, right? Because he went down on the apron, and he was down on the apron probably thinking, oh, I'm going to lose the draft now. That's it. And he avoids all the carnage by not being in the middle of the track.
Yeah, that was the best thing that probably could have happened there for Tristan, the best outcome. I mean, without that wreck happening, he would have dropped back, maybe even lost the draft, depending on how much momentum he lost.
Yeah, exactly. Because when you go on the apron, as you know, when you go on the apron on the straightaway, it's not that big of a deal, right? You can kind of work your way back up. Everything's fine. The car handles perfectly fine. But when you go off track and then you're in a corner, like you have to do everything possible to not go around or let alone go back up the track and wrap up everybody in the field.
Yeah, you're basically stuck down on the apron there till you can get out of the turn or enough cars pass and you can slowly get up from that transition just because the banking is so much. If you try coming up in that corner, at one point, two of your wheels are going to be off the ground, but just because of the banking and the difference there.
Yeah, that's right. It's a really, really challenging deal, and it could not have worked out better this time for the 22 of Kristen Miner as we take a look at the 50 of Ryan Perone Sr. leading the way as we work caution number 1. Drafty, run us through our top 5 or even top 10 after that.
Yeah, so it looks like the restart here as we see him go double up there. We got first place, Ryan Perone Sr., number 50. Second place, number 60, Shane King. Third place, the number 57 of Thomas Osborne. And in fourth, the 20 of Justin Terry. Fifth place, rounding it out, is going to be Tristan Miner in the 22. Now, sixth is going to be Steve Harrison in the 51, and seventh, Joe Thomas in the 218. Those guys are our biggest movers so far, up 8 positions. In eighth place is going to be the 13 of Jorge Ledesma Jr., and ninth place is going to be the 55 of William Martin. Rounding out your top 10, it's going to be David Chapman Jr.
Yeah, and Drafty, back to what you mentioned about Steve Harrison and Joe Thomas as they head into turn 3 to go green here momentarily. I believe those two probably weren't wrapped up in issues. So because the pit stops, they were able to just go in, get a quick shot of fuel, and get right back out.
Yes, sir. And could see that strategy, an early pit here, maybe a little bit extra fuel, plays out in the long run. We will have to see. Do you see them still double filed? We will hop on board here with Barney in a minute.
I was all mixed up. I thought they were in turn 3 coming off the front stretch right now. Oh, they are.
They are. Here
I'm
we are.
losing it.
That's all right. Here we are. Green flag going once again as we will follow them around and listen to them roar on by. All right, we'll put another lap in the books here as the 60 of Shane King and the 50 of Ryan Perone Sr. side by side right now, battling for the lead. Fortunately, neither one of them really have help right now, but we do see the 13 of Jorge Ledesma Jr. and the 57 of Thomas Osborne now inching themselves back up to complete this draft train here.
Yeah, that was interesting. We saw Perone Sr. and Shane King out there in La La Land a little bit by themselves for a little while, and here comes the rest of the field, the 57 and the 13 now right behind them.
So as we now see the two solid lines forming on the inside and outside, it's looking to hold it together pretty well. I know Shane's looking to get in front of the 50 there and probably drop down in front of him.
Looks like Shane King did lead that lap. That's going to be the first one that the 50 hasn't led, as now they begin to spread out just a little bit behind him. I believe that was the 88 of David Chapman Jr. I want to hope that he got back on track. That is him, and he did. All right, very good. Hopefully now, Drafty, he'll be able to catch that tail end of the draft, though.
Yeah, he doesn't look too far off. I think he'll be able to catch up just fine. As we see him now closing that gap and getting back up with the group there, he'll be all right.
Yeah, he barely caught it, but that's exactly what I was referring to just a bit earlier. If you go off the apron on the straightaway, it's not really as big of an issue. You can get back on the track just fine.
Yeah, you can keep a lot more momentum because you don't have to worry about trying to turn. So now that we see
Go ahead.
I was saying now we see the 115 way back. Now he might be too far back to catch the draft. I'm not quite sure what happened there. But we'll have to keep an eye on that and see if he can get back up to the pack here.
Yeah, and actually damage on the tail end of that 115 Toyota Supra for Aaron Genske. Unfortunate there. He'll be hoping for a caution as Ryan Perone Sr. now leads the way once again.
Yeah, it has been a pretty good battle up here, back and forth between the 50 and the 60 here.
It certainly has. You know, someone else looking to avoid trouble tonight, much like the 115, that red and black 13 of Jorge Ledesma Jr. that's on the tail end of the 60 machine right now.
Yeah, I know he's looking to have a good night. He's another driver that's very capable of being up front, but just got collected in a lot of incidences over the past few weeks.
I feel like we could say that about so many of these drivers, but the 115 and the 13, definitely some of the biggest ones for sure, as now King falls off just a little bit there on the outside.
Yeah, I'd see he hasn't been trying to get the side draft as much. Maybe he got a little loose there on the corner entry, but you see he hasn't been trying to side draft as much. He's probably just trying to ride it out. You know, he's in a good position right now. He doesn't have to fight. There's still 46 minutes left.
Now, do you expect to see the 57 of Osborne jump to the outside here? He's got plenty of clearance.
He definitely could. We'll have to see what he chooses to do before, but it looks like that gap is closing. He's going to have to do it quick if he wants it. And it's closed.
I mean, he might be perfectly content on the bottom side, which I don't blame the guy. It's way more comfortable on the bottom and a lot less risk if there is a wreck, right?
Yeah, wrecks go up here at Daytona, definitely. If a wreck starts low, it's going up. So right on that outside line can be a little dangerous.
It's definitely a comfortable spot I'd like to be as far as driving the car. Most uncomfortable spot there is once they start wrecking.
So we see the 60 actually got out quite a bit in front of the 50 and could have dropped down and chose to stay on that outside lane there with the 13 of Jorge Ledesma Jr.
Yeah, that would give King the opportunity to definitely lead some laps in front of Perone Sr. and the 13 of Jorge Ledesma Jr. the opportunity to lead the outside line.
You see, they're both looking pretty solid on that top line. You know, that's the saying, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. So maybe that's their strategy. They'll just ride up top for a while.
It's been really, really nice, clean racing all the way through the field so far. Just that one caution, which multiple issues caused that. Oh, as we see the 13 scrape the wall. Looks like he's okay, though.
Keep it moving, but now Shane lost his drafting partner here for about half a lap. We'll have to see, as it doesn't look like he actually loses too much momentum. They're able to keep it going pretty darn fast still.
Yeah, and that's lucky for the 218 of Joe Thomas and the 13 of Ledesma Jr. That's exactly how that first caution was started.
Yeah, everyone was able to keep it together, though, and keep their composure and keep it moving forward.
Now, Drafty, something that we talk about a lot at these super speedways, as we watch the 57 at times kind of bounce outside, bounce inside. Why is he doing that?
Uh, so you can't stay glued on the back of the car in front of you. Your engine won't get enough airflow, and then your motor's going to overheat and blow up. So you don't want that. So when you see him, he'll peek his nose out about half a car length or so. He's just trying to get some fresh air onto his motor there instead of the exhaust of the car in front of him that's warm. So it's going to help cool off the car and not blow up the motor.
Yeah, and that is something you got to watch, especially in very clean, consistent racing like this. Those cars will get warm in a hurry, and if you're not paying attention, you blow a motor, that's all she wrote. Whether you got a fast repair or not, you're taking a tow.
Yeah, and a tow here at these super speedways is, I believe it's around 2 minutes here at maybe just under at Daytona. So you are going to be towing for a while, and then you got to have your pit crew go through. And then if you're like me and you forget to uncheck your tires, then you got to sit there and wait for them to change your tires. Takes even longer.
Yeah, that's right. Has some factors. Update on the back of the field, draftee. Robbie Minor in the 53, Don King in the 70, and Aaron Genske all showing a lap down right now due to probably that caution, a tow, some incidents on pit lane. Definitely those three have to be hoping for a caution or two.
Yeah, definitely. To get the lucky dog, get back on the lead lap. I know no one else in the field wants to see a caution, but these drivers definitely do.
Yeah, they're going to be hoping for some lucky dog action coming their way.
Update in the front, Shane King has now decided to drop down to that lower lane in front of the 50. Let's see how this plays out, if the 50 is going to try and work with him or get up to the front or to the outside now and get back to the front.
Good move by the 60 of Shane King that's leading the way here. The 13 leading the outside lane. Way less help up there, Drafty. Plus, you saw through turns 1 and 2 rather, that there was about a 1 or 2 car gap.
Yeah, I do see that, and this just comes down to experience levels, and I'm not knocking on anybody, but I know Ryan Perrone and Shane are very experienced in this, and you see how close that Perrone is riding to Shane throughout this whole thing, and it gave them that bit of separation between the cars behind them because they are working so well as a two-car group here and manipulating that draft to go faster.
They are, and I think if the 13 is going to catch back up and have a chance to drop to the lower side like Shane did, the 51 of Steve Harrison is going to have to pull in beside these two guys in front.
Yep, as we see him now, it's starting to get a little bit tighter, and you see now, the 13, he's kind of, you see him weaving left and right just a little bit. He's trying to, manipulate that side draft now and use that to his advantage. I've had it at times where I've been the only car on the outside and able to manipulate the side draft enough to at least get to the front and hang out until help arrived.
Sometimes that's what you got to do. Unfortunately for the 13, though, he's got even less help out there now, as the 51 we saw get squirrely just a moment ago, and he elected to stay on the bottom side after he recovered.
Yeah, it was a good catch by him and able to keep it going, and good heads-up racing by everyone else to not run him over.
Was really good racing, and luckily he had a gap. Now, meanwhile, the 19 of Kelly Akron decided he wanted to take his shot to go to the front and saw a window. Only one problem, Drafty. He's got no help besides the 88 coming from probably 3 car lengths back.
Yeah, we'll have to see how this works, as we see him kind of battling a little bit more up front here. And as we say that, the 19 is able to catch the draft on that outside. And we have a new line of about 5 cars on the outside. Some of these players in the back working their way up to the front here.
See, that was the broadcaster's curse working the opposite direction there that time. Normally, when we're on Kelly or, a lot of different racers, they have an incident. Not this time. Now the 19 is battling for the top 5.
Lots of good side-by-side racing throughout the field here. Everyone's holding on to it nicely. Not a lot of serpentining. It's really good to see. They're looking much better since from the very first week.
Much, much better. This is a really, really long green flag run. I want to make a note about something I just thought about. But on the outside lane with the gold wheels and the black and red paint job, Robbie Minor's trying to get his lap back the old school way. Drafty?
Yeah, I mean, that's the way to do it. You got to get it any way possible, especially now we're having these good green flag runs. We'll see. Oh no.
Look out!
Looks like that's the
19's
19.
around.
I see a few cars went off track. Looks like Don King went off track. We're still green flag. That shook up the field a bit there.
Certainly did. We've seen a couple delayed yellows here. Daytona is very generous, we will say, at what they let slide as far as what's a caution and what's not. We just completed the lap and still no caution.
Yeah, that's they decide. I guess the 19, he is still going. Definitely far back from the pack now. I have to hope that he is able to catch back up at some point. So we'll take you back up front as it's showing Jorge Ledesma Jr. leading currently. But it has been back and forth up front all race long.
This is very interesting. No caution there. Must have been just a 360 spin around, and or Ledesma now on the outside looking to lead the lap. I think he did.
Very close to it.
Drafty, something I was going to bring up that I just thought about, like I mentioned before. These cars that didn't pit on lap 5 when we had the first caution, they're all spread out through the field. What do you think that's going to do as far as strategy? Because I guarantee you, they probably weren't expecting this long of a green flag run.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, they're going to have to pit 5 laps sooner than everybody else. So that's definitely going to be interesting. I'm not sure. I forgot to ask the info how many laps of fuel they have. Not that it matters because we don't see laps anyway. But I have to wonder how much fuel those guys at the front have left.
Yeah, 100%. Guys like Shane King, he didn't pit. He's been up front leading the bottom lane now for probably 5 to 6 laps. Brian Perone Sr., he didn't pit. He started off the race from pole. He's led a lot of laps. Jorge Ledesma Jr., first guy to pit on lap 5. He's leading that outside lane now.
Yeah, he's got a 5-lap more advantage as of right now. He definitely doesn't want to see, he knows that too. He definitely doesn't want to see a caution come out because then that gives everyone basically a free pit. He wants these guys that haven't pit to have to pit under green because that's going to separate. That's going to make 2 separate packs from the guys that pit on lap 5 and the guys that didn't.
It is. Now, something that's interesting here, there are some teammates throughout the field, but there are not different team channels, for example. So knowing if you're Ledesma Jr., hey, I got 5 laps along with most of the field on these top 5. How do you kind of organize if you're someone like Shane or Perone Sr. to not pit by yourselves and be able to come back out with some drafting help?
Yeah, I think this being a learners league, they're probably not too worried about secrecy of when they're doing anything. So I think they're probably pretty open, like talking with all the other drivers as well about what's going on. As we see, Perone ended up going down. Almost decided to take a shortcut through the pit lane. That wouldn't have been good.
Woo. Man, he's lucky the 57 was nice and patient there. He could have squeezed the gap on him, and Perone Sr. would have been left hanging out to dry, going all the way to the tail end of the field.
Yeah, some good heads-up driving by the 57 to Thomas Osborne there.
All these guys, man, they're all driving really, really well tonight. Even, the couple incidents we had just kind of started by the wall, but it's been really clean, really exciting so far.
Yeah, we see the 218 rub the wall a little bit, but it looks like he might get squeezed out. Now we got our first 3 wide of the night. As it looks like the 218 might get held out to dry there on that far outside lane.
Oh, and he's in the wall again now. Is the 53 a Minor still working to try to get his lap back the old-fashioned way? He said, "Nope, you hit the wall. See you later."
Yeah, unfortunately now that hindered the 13 of Jorge Ledesma Jr. trying to work on that lead as we see him back about 3-4 cars on that outside lane. Hopefully he can get back up and fight again. We see him desperately working that side draft.
He is. It's now the 53 is squirrely on the top side, man. The 13 pulls really close to the 50 of Ryan Perone Sr. Great driving here by those two guys.
Yes, sir. I love to see a good driver know how to use the side draft, know how to get close enough without, actually making contact. You want to get about 6-7 inches away from the guy. I feel like that's the most optimal to get your side draft there.
You're exactly right. That's what you want to do. And man, they were as straight and narrow as you could be. Oh no, it's now Perone Sr. gets bumped. We just said it. How's he going to get back on? 3 wide. Look out.
That probably wasn't the safest rejoin, but yeah, talk about, I guess, a commentator's curse, as we saw Jorge Ledesma just a little too overzealous with getting in for that side draft, kind of bumped the 50 of Ryan Perone off track. Thankfully, he was able to keep it going and not lose a bunch of spots either.
Woohoo, yeah, that was close, man. Everyone keeping it straight, and the 20, good thing he was paying attention. That's Justin Terry. Good driving from him to move aside and give the 50 a lot of room to come back up.
Yeah. Speaking of the 20, that reminds me, I still have not gotten my cookies.
Onward to the racing action we go.
The 13 of Jorge Ledesma Jr. is back up in the front and fighting once again with the 60 of Shane King for that lead position.
He is, and if I'm the 13, I'm radioing back, or even the 218, to those guys behind. Hey, jump up top, help us out here. We can't go anywhere.
Yeah, it's and you see now they are more side by side, as Shane, the 57 isn't quite up on Shane's bumper, so I wonder how much that'll play in if he can close that gap. And same thing on the outside, get him tightened up just a little bit there.
That's what they need, although I do believe the 57 and the 60, the front two cars of the lower line, they're perfectly content where they're at because they will need to pit at some point.
Yeah, laps keep running down as we're about 30 seconds away from the halfway point of tonight's race. It'll be 30 minutes to go.
Now, in this situation, we're right about halfway, right, as they cross the line here. Do you feel like you drain it all the way till the end, push it absolutely as far as you can go, trying to wait for that caution? Or do you say, hey, we're halfway through, I'm going to pit now in case this thing stays green, and then have half the race to work my way back up?
Me, I'm a gambler. I would push it and hope for the caution. That's going to be the best thing to happen. If these guys pit now and the other guys keep going, they will definitely become a lap down. And, and who's to say that those guys that pitted on lap 5, though, even have enough to make the end of the race? They may need to pit one more time, too. I'm not sure.
Yeah, we might see the whole field decide to come together. And right now, that decision is weighing on the shoulders of the 60 of Shane King. He's leading the way. And I have to believe in this situation, everyone's going to kind of play follow the leader, right?
Yeah, definitely. I don't think you'll see anyone pitting before the leader does. If that's Shane at the time, anyway.
Who knows what's going to happen? I mean, it could be Ledesma Jr., but once again, he's going to be 5 laps up. But that could be evening out closer to some of these guys in the field since he's up here leading leading a line for so long, right?
Yeah. As we see now, it looks like most of people choosing that inside lane, just kind of following behind. They're a little spread out back there, you can see. to see how that factors into things. I think maybe everyone's just kind of chilling right now, too. Another thing to bring up, too, is if your car, if you're 2 or 3 rows back, you're going to be getting a little bit better gas mileage than those leaders are. Because of the draft, your car, you're not on throttle as much. You have to let up a little bit, and that's going to save you a little bit more gas than the leaders who have to be in it the entire time.
Oh yeah, the 57, the 53, even though a lap down, 88, the 20, those guys that have cars behind them and cars in front, they can kind of I won't say relax, right? But they can kind of sit 70% to 80% throttle here and save a lot of fuel.
Yeah, and that's another strategy to go into play. Yeah, that's some people say, oh, they just drive left. No, there's a lot of factors other than driving left, and we're bringing those all up tonight. There's so much that go into these oval races, especially at these super speedways. One, doesn't matter how good of a driver you are, you make the wrong decision, your race is over.
It happens in a flash, that's for sure. Now, someone that's not leading but doesn't have the benefit of saving fuel is the 94 of Robert Altman. Reason why is because he's the last car on the top side. So if he lays off the gas and falls further back, he's at danger of losing that draft, and he doesn't want to do that.
Nope, yeah, it's a dance. It really is just a dance between all out and fuel consumption. Or saving, sorry, fuel saving.
Well, fuel consumption as well, right? Because if you can play it out right, where, to your point, who knows if Ledesma Jr. and the rest of these guys have enough to make it the rest of the way. But if you can get to that point to where you only have to pit once, I mean, that's a game changer.
Yeah. And it's another thing. These guys' tires are probably just fine. Pitting here at these racetracks for these lengths is normally just all about fuel too. So I have to imagine when these guys do come down pit road, it'll be fuel only.
I'd assume so. I mean, most of these guys are the drivers that weren't wrapped up in that first incident and only incident that we've had. The only time I've considered taking tires at a super speedway like Daytona or Talladega is if I'm involved in an incident, I spin out, something like that that's going to really impact the tires.
Yeah. Really, I can't recall too many times that I have pitted 4 tires at a super speedway other than doing the Daytona 500 last year.
Obviously, definitely a different situation, 500 miles for that. And folks, in addition to that, Drafty and I are going to run the Daytona 500 this year, so we'll keep you posted there. Maybe we'll have it for you right here live on Royalty Racing Network. We'll see how that plays out, but that's going to be a lot of fun coming up soon. Next month, February. I can't wait for real racing to be back in NASCAR, Drafty.
Oh my gosh, I am too. I'm not a sports fan other than racing, so everyone's been talking about football, and I'm just like, I cannot relate.
Yeah, it's going to change soon. Ooh, hold on to it. Jorge, a lot of big changes up front now. Jorge Ledesma Jr. cleared the 60 of Shane King. He leads the lower line. Meanwhile, Minor is back on the lead lap as he jumps ahead of Jorge Ledesma Jr.
Now look at this. The car out in front. Not a lap down anymore, but last car on the lead lap.
You know who loves to see that the most right now? The 70 of Don King. He is loving the 53 of Robbie Minor getting on the lead lap the old school way. That would make Don King the lucky dog if we were to see a second caution.
Yes, sir. That's gotta play a little bit of mind games now with our actual leader, number 13, Jorge Ledesma Jr. As we see some cars dipping off to come into pit lane here with the 57 of Thomas Osborne and the 20 of Justin Terry.
This leads me to believe, seeing those two guys come in, that we're getting awfully close to seeing the rest of the guys that didn't pit come in as well. Those were 2 of the 5 guys. The other 2, Shane King, Ryan Perone Sr., up in 4th and 5th. The only other guy, Tristan Miner, he's not on the lead lap right now. He's probably got fuel already.
Yeah, it's shaking things up here. I love to see green flag pit stops, that's for sure. It definitely is going to shake up the field, shake up the outcome of this race. So we see the 13 and 60 dipping down, the 50 of Ryan Perone Sr., 94 Robert Altman also coming to pit.
Oh, man, I got to say, I love this move by Jorge Ledesma Jr. to go with a few other cars, even though maybe he didn't need fuel. For example, now, look at the 88 of David Chapman Jr. and the 218 of Joe Thomas. When they decide to pit, they're going to be hung out to dry.
Yeah, we'll have to see if them pitting on lap 5 gave him enough fuel. I'm going to have to say no if these guys are needing to pit now halfway through. Pitting on lap 5, I don't think would be enough to make it. I'm not the best at math, but I'm going to say we're going to see all these guys that pit on lap 5 need to pit as well one more time before the end of this race.
I would agree, which I think is why we saw Justin Terry and Jorge Ledesma go with those guys, because they probably realize, hey, if this stays green, I'm going to be left out here, you know, one of the only 1 or 2 cars not to pit yet again, and now they're going to only have 1 or 2 guys together drafting.
Yeah, as we now see just the leaders coming up on Justin Terry now. Just saw him in the shot there, so I'll have to see if they'll be able to get that draft as well.
Yeah, what's going to be huge for these guys up front now is we see David Chapman Jr. in the 88 is your current leader, as you see on your timing tower there. It's going to be big for those guys up front that pitted on lap 5 to get together with the back 3, like Steve Harrison, Zach White, Kelly Akron, for example, and all 6 of those guys pit at the same time, right?
Yeah, the bigger group that you can have, and as long as you guys can run clean together, you should be able to catch back up. But you got to run in pretty tight terrain.
Yeah, if they pit separated where Chapman Jr. and Joe Thomas come in by themselves, I don't see any way that they are able to get back up to this lead group that they're now mixed in with, we see here on track. But they're not going to be able to do it alone.
One thing I'd like to point out, I see that the 22 of Tristan Miner is out. It's like he decided to call it a night.
Tough go for Miner there. As we saw him involved in the first incident, but it didn't seem serious. Then he got involved with the 19 of Kelly Akron. Didn't seem like there was a ton of damage, but just no caution to catch back up and take a fast repair. So Miner calls it an evening, unfortunately.
As we see, everyone's kind of getting back together. I thought there'd be 2 bigger packs, but it kind of looks like it's going to merge back together into one pack here, with half the cars on the lead lap and half the cars a lap down from pitting just recently.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And what we're looking at here is all the way back to the 94 of Altman is on the lead lap. That leaves Robbie Miner, coincidentally, in the 53, as now I guess Altman just got passed. So he goes a lap down to Joe Thomas. Interesting mix here. The guy that was leading the race when the pit cycle started was Jorge Ledesma Jr. He's sitting 7th right now.
Yeah, I say it's definitely a big shakeup when you get these green flag pit stops. I'll have to see when these other guys choose to pit. I have to imagine that they will need to, so see if they do it sooner or later.
I think they'll need to also, and I mean right now it goes back to what's the strategy. They got to just be bleeding it dry at this point.
Yeah, I think so. I think that would be my strategy. So
I mean, that would be my strategy as well. But as I mentioned before, I also agree with Jorge Ledesma Jr. deciding to pit with a bigger group and kind of solidify, hey, I'm going to be part of that lead group at the end. Excuse me. Instead of taking the chance like Joe Thomas here and David Chapman Jr., hoping, praying at this point for a caution.
yeah, Joe Thomas is our new leader. He was able to get around the 88 of David Chapman Jr. So now he will lead us here as we got about just under 18 minutes to go with Jorge Ledesma Jr. and Shane King out in front of this pack here. Like you said before, they are running 7th and 8th currently.
As of right now, if Ledesma Jr. and Shane King stay where they are on the lead lap, that would make the 50 of Ryan Perone Sr. very happy, as he would be the lucky dog. Never mind, here they come, here they
I was
come.
going to say, I see a few cars that were coming to pit early there, and now we see the rest of them come one lap later here. And that will put Jorge Ledesma Jr. back in the lead. 17 minutes to go.
Drafty, this is exactly what that group needed right now, was to pit as a whole. I mean, 9 cars on pit road just now versus 6 that we saw pit just a bit ago. I'm sorry, even 5, less than that.
Yeah, as we do see David Chapman Jr. already coming out of pit lane here, but he's not going to have the speed. I don't think they'll be able to get up in speed to enough speed in time by the time this group catches them, as they are now coming across the start-finish line.
That will eventually turn it over, as you see those times rather from 6th through 10th dropping drastically, like the temperature here in Colorado as of late.
Yeah, same here in Wisconsin. They will catch these guys no problem. Hopefully they're able to get around them with no problem as well. So you see him now gaining positions here. Jorge Ledesma Jr. up to 5th.
One thing that could have went better for that group, Drafty, is coming out of pit lane a lot closer together so they have that draft a lot quicker.
Yeah, that's a key about coming into pit together. You all need to leave together too, so you're not trying to play catch up.
Right, Chapman still. No, he's off pit.
Yeah, I don't know why it shows him in pit.
Tower.
He is in
Wait,
the lead.
yeah, I was gonna say.
He is still currently leading.
Right. Interesting.
I do not know why that is.
Not quite sure. But him and the 218 of Thomas not going to be able to hold against Martin, Harrison, Ledesma, and King, Perron, so on and so forth behind him.
Yeah, I mean they are running really good right now. I do have to say that, as we see that the time drop off. Oh, everything just went away. That's no bueno.
Yellow flag is out.
Oh, as I hear yellow is out, let me try and fix this.
Oh, no. And not sure how serious it's going to be, but looks like Shane King and Jorge Ledesma Jr. have crashed, is what I see here on my informational screen. We'll take a look at that here momentarily. As we see the 88 of David Chapman Jr. slowing now, as caution is out on the speedway, folks. We are reloading our overlays since we had some issues there with it still showing pit. Interesting to say the least. Still up. But now the 88 and the 218 slow down. So you see him check up there. Now catching the pace car. We will see what happened to Shane King here momentarily, folks. Always something with these overlays randomly, but luckily it comes at time of caution. So we're going to take this quick opportunity to thank our sponsors, PGHA Designs. Victory starts with a flawless finish. Contact Drafty Beef, yep, the same one you hear tonight, on Discord for a quote on your iRacing custom paints today, starting at just $25. That's a deal. Majestic Promotional and Branded Apparel. Whether you run a company, a government agency, a sports team, or even a virtual race team, turn every item into a statement with Majestic Promotional and Branded Apparel. Comment for details or hit me up in the Discord. But we are back. Let's take a look here now at the incident involving Shane King.
Yeah, let's apologize about that. Of course, something's always got to go a little wrong. Oh my gosh, it looks like he got sandwiched there. Oh. That's unfortunate. Looks like the 13 went up a little high, had to check up to not hit the wall, which then Shane, of course, probably checked up, but gets really close to him and then kind of gets pinched with the 50, and they all go tumbling down the track. Follows him right down. That's unfortunate.
Interesting. Go ahead.
I was saying, it just that looked cool. They all three in unison almost kind of got loose there. But yeah, lots of cars involved, unfortunately, once again.
Yeah, interesting caution there. The 20 nearly avoided it, but you're exactly right. I mean, they were in sync, it would appear, as they all got loose together, it looked like, and a lot of cars damaged and back down pit road on lap 52. Ryan Prone Sr., of course, we just saw in the incident. Zach White. Jorge Ledesma Jr. still down pit road. I have to hope that he had his fast repair checked. That would be a heartbreaker if not.
I wonder if he had to tow. I'm showing 3 minutes, 18 seconds in pit right now.
Interesting. I wonder, didn't look like it was severe enough to have to tow that car back, but not quite sure. Maybe we can get one more quick look at the 13 there? That incident?
Let me see here. It looks like it's not on the event viewer anymore, but it does show that he did jump to pits.
Okay. Yep, must have had to tow. Man, every single week something happens with the 13 of Jorge Ledesma Jr. I feel so bad for him. Always leading or up front with the opportunity to lead, and it doesn't work out for him in the end.
It's unfortunate. Another rough night for Jorge Ledesma Jr. Shane King was able to get out, get his pit. He's still on the lead lap. Position number 9, as will come with about 9 minutes to go here.
The biggest winner out of that caution, though, is the 53 of Robbie Minor. Puts him 11th in the restart and back on the lead lap with the lead pack actually fighting for position this time.
Yeah, it looks like is this right? I'm only showing Don. Oh, there we go. Now it updated. Sometimes it takes a minute to update. Okay, yeah. It's good to see him back on the lead lap. I know a few of these other cars were hoping to get back there. So now we'll see Jorge Ledesma Jr. go a lap down, unfortunately.
But you know what they say, Drafty, cautions breed cautions. Jorge Ledesma down, but not out just yet, as we're about ready to go back to green here.
Yep, and as this time ticks down, it's now or never if you're going to get up front. So let's see as the iRacing.com pace car dips down into pit lane. Green flag is out once again. Who will come out on top here at Daytona International Speedway? And we are going to stay right with the action on this restart as we see them get kind of single file here on the restart. That's interesting. Have to see how this pans out.
I mean, a huge jump for the 88 of Chapman Jr., but he has to know, and if he doesn't, he will soon, that he's going to have the whole rest of the field chasing him down in a hurry when you do that at super speedways.
Yep, you may get up front right away, but you'll get reeled back in eventually.
You know who lucked out huge on that caution too, Drafty? The 19 of Kelly Akron. He was 46 seconds behind, nearly a whole lap. Now he's sitting 5th.
Yeah, he's in a good position for a good finish here tonight. Just shows you a little perseverance, not giving up just because you fell back behind the pack. And look, here we go. When it matters most, 7.5 minutes left, and he is up fighting in the top 5 here.
55 of William Martin haven't called his name much before, and except for before when we looked at him in practice, but he's leading the outside lane right now.
Heck yeah, he's looking to get a win, get that 55 machine to victory lane. Looking pretty good. We see a big gap there on that inside lane. Oh, as the 19 is going to shuffle up to the outside lane and the 55 down to the inside. Complete switcheroo there.
And that did not pan out for the 19 of Kelly Akron. He made a really good move going to the top because he probably saw there was such a big gap behind him. The 55 and the 50 said, we'll go down low.
Yeah. I think they had the same idea at the same time, and they just swapped. But now we'll see the 77 get up on the bumper of the 19. Hopefully get him pushed back out to the front there.
He's getting bailed out for sure. Lucky is the 19 of Akron. Quick update, the Jorge Ledesma Jr. number 13 being ruled out for the rest of the race.
Unfortunate. Let's see the 60 here. Oh, he was pushing her 3 wide.
Hang on to it,
Let's
Shane.
see if he can keep her going. Oh, he'll probably get a black flag for unsafe pit entry, unfortunately. That's going to be a killer for Shane there. With only 5 minutes to go, that might put him to the back of the field for the night.
It may very well indeed. At least he'll be 11th as of right now, and kind of in the same position Kelly Akron was just in. But as you mentioned, has to be a penalty there, right?
I'd imagine so, as we saw him definitely go across before the pit exit cone. And iRacing, unfortunately, doesn't know if you're wrecking or just driving across it and hands out a penalty.
Yeah, that's right, and rules are rules. I just did it to myself the other night at Atlanta. Saw myself get a hefty minute-long hold penalty. So we'll have to see what happens to the 60 of Shane King, but the 88 of Chapman continues to lead.
Yeah, he's been leading strong. You know, I thought he was going to lose it during the pit exchange, but it appears that luck was in his favor tonight. And I always say it, you got to have some lady luck sitting on your shoulder if you're going to be good here at a super speedway. And things have just kind of worked out for him here as he's leading with 4.5 minutes to go.
Gotta have that luck. Now, someone I'm envious of right now is the 19 of Akron. That's the place I love to be, coming down to the last couple laps of the super speedway, although he needs a little bit more help behind him.
Yeah, I think he needs to get a little bit closer too, get a little bit of that side draft. But it's all about, you know, these drivers are going to drive how they feel comfortable. And at the end of the day, if you can do that and say you tried your hardest, that's what matters.
That's right. I mean, we're having a heck of a race tonight. Only 2 cautions, night and day difference from our first half of the season. So encouraging to see that. That's exactly what you wanted to see when you mentioned it in the pre-race show.
Yeah, it has been amazing. Great clean racing from everybody. They've been racing hard, tight. It's been close together. Green flag pit stop, something we haven't seen this season
Yeah.
yet. So it's super awesome that these guys are out here racing so well. Super proud of these guys.
Yeah, I'm really proud of him too. And we got to see a full cycle of green flag pit stops. Is now the 77. We haven't talked about him much, but he finds himself in a good spot as long as he keeps it out of the wall. He's pushing the 19 right now.
Yeah. I do see it. Just make a quick note: the 115 of Aaron Genske and the 57 Thomas Osborne coming down pit lane now. You see that at the bottom of your screen.
Interesting move there. What do you think that could be due to?
Oh no! Oh, they are wrecking. No caution yet. Still green. The 19, the Kelly Akron, wrapped up in that, unfortunately. That gives us a new leader, the 77 of Zach White. 2 minutes, 20 seconds to go. And now we have half the field that we had before that last race. And no caution from iRacing.
No caution. I mentioned it before, Drafty. Daytona, they're finicky and stingy about waving that caution flag. I'm not quite sure why. It looked like there should have been one there, but nonetheless, we got our top 5 looking to close it out here as we're under 2 minutes to go.
Yeah. What a shakeup of events. It looks like 6th place now is about, I see this right, 5 seconds behind 5th. So not much action there. You gotta imagine those guys are just gonna be fighting for a position or two. Very unfortunate, no caution for those drivers.
Yeah, very, very unfortunate for guys like Shane King, who would have loved to see that. And obviously, Perone Sr. might have his top 5 streak come to an end. And then Kelly Akron, again, another guy kind of like Ledesma Jr., just wrapped up in issues at the wrong time consistently in this series. Oh, as we see the 20 slam into the outside wall. Drafty, you with me, buddy? We may have lost Drafty. Not sure what's going on, but we're at 45 seconds to go here, and we'll probably take the white flag this time around, I have to believe. Drafty, we saw the 20 of Justin Terry go hard into the wall. Is now we're going to get the white flag to go here.
Yeah, that was a very hard hit. Had a little issues with my mic. I got so excited. But yeah, 12 seconds or 1 lap to go. They're going to get the white flag. 77, Zach White currently leading, trying to fend off the 88 of David Chapman Jr. And don't cut out the 218 or the 51. They are also in striking distance.
Drafty, as they go along the backstretch, real quick, give us your vote. Who's in the best place to make a move here?
I think you could see the 218 make a pretty drastic move for a win if he can somehow get underneath the 77. We'll see what happens. Oh, now he's got the space to go above. We'll see how it comes. Coming out of turn 3 and 4.
The 88 looked to want to have a chance on the outside, but he had no help. The 218, he pushes it outside. He loses his help. And the 77 of Zach White gets the win. Nearly uncontested at the checkered flag.
What an ending to this race. Wow. Lots of heartbreak here at the end, but you know whose heart isn't broken? The 77 of Zach White. He's got to be ecstatic right now.
I mean, what a finish. We got exactly what we wanted. A lot of green flag racing this evening to kick off the second half. And a green flag finish. Drafty, this is by far our best one we've seen of the season so far.
Yes, this has been the most exciting race. I'm super proud of these guys. These guys raced hard tonight, put on a great show, and 77 coming away with the victory. Good to see a new winner, and I'm excited. This was a good one.
It was a really good one. And now I got to call out Perone Sr. in the 50. His top 5 streak does not end, folks. He made a last second pass there due to the incident that we saw coming to the line, it would appear, and he finishes 5th. But as we see the 77 of Zach White get ready to celebrate, let's bring up your results if we have them.
Yeah, they don't work with the.
No issues. All right. Issues with the results, but that's okay. That's due to the time as the 77 begins his donuts. Let's give you the full rundown. Of course, Tristan Miner, we mentioned he had issues early. He called in an evening. He finished the 16th. 15th was the 13 of Jorge Ledesma Jr. Number 57, Thomas Osborne, finishes in 14th. Aaron Genske, rough night for him at the racetrack, finishes 13th. Don King, a rough night as well. He finishes 12th. Robbie Miner finished in 11th. He was the last car on the lead lap there at the end. And Justin Terry finishes 10th. Drafty.
And then we're gonna have Kelly Akron, who ended up with the top 10 finish, finishing 9th. And then the 60 of Shane King will end up in 8th. 55 of William Martin coming in 7th. 6th place, the 94 of Robert Altman. And to start the top 5 will be Ryan Perone Sr. in the 50. Josh?
Into your top 5, David Chapman Jr., who we saw there at the end. He was in the 88. He finished up 13 spots and closed it out 4th. Into your podium, Steve Harrison in the 51 finished up 11. He got 3rd. The 218 of Joe Thomas ran up front nearly all night long. He finished up tied for your biggest mover position, up 13. He finished 2nd, and picking up the win in the 77, up 8 spots on the evening. It's Zach White in the red, white, and blue Ford. Drafty, we're going to get these guys in here to talk to them real quick, if possible. I don't see Harrison or Joe Thomas, man. Come on, guys. Oh, Joe Thomas is there. We're going to get with Joe Thomas. All right. Here we go. Joe Thomas in the broadcast booth joining us after his 2nd place finish. Joe, this is Josh up in the booth. You got a copy, bud?
Yeah, I'm with you.
Man, another good race for the PinupsForVets.com machine tonight. You ran up front nearly all race long, and you finished our biggest mover of the night, up 13. What was working for you tonight?
At any super speedway, you just got to have some patience. And I've been having some internet issues this past week, and so I started in the back, and I wasn't able to get any real good qualifying laps in, and just made it patient and waited for things to happen. And fingers crossed, I didn't get caught up in any wrecks.
I mean, yeah, it was a heck of a race. Every time we turned around, we were calling your name and looking at your car there at the front of the field. Of course, obviously, you didn't need any practice. We started the second half of the season tonight, Joe, and this obviously leaps and bounds cleaner than most of the first half. What do you have now going forward in the rest of the second half after seeing a 2-caution race tonight?
I think the biggest thing for this whole group is just that we've run races together, and the first race with new people running together is always a cluster, and it can be irritating. And you've seen with even 5 races, you can see the improvement of us all running on super speedways together, and the patience that we now all have instead of trying to jockey for position and everything like that.
Yeah, that's right. Joe, you came in on the evening 14th in points, 89 behind the leader. Of course, Ryan Perone Sr. running away with the thing here. But finishing second, how many X's did you have tonight?
I had 12 tonight, which isn't exciting, but I still finished the race clean for the most part. I think one hit of that was me on the outside wall, when I scrubbed the outside wall and then caught up in the first wreck, and then I think it gave me 4 when I accidentally turned Terry. I had a run and just got up under him and hit looks like I hit the skirt. I was just looking at the review when you pulled me in, and I got major apologies to pass to him.
Yeah, I mean, a good finish, so that's going to close the gap a little bit, definitely move you up probably a couple spots in the points, but I mean, amazing race overall. We were happy to see a lot of green flag racing and definitely get a green flag finish, so shout out to you. Before we let you go, Joe, anyone you'd like to shout out or thank this evening?
Just shouting out the logos I run, pinutsforvets.com, Goat Locker Racing and Operation Motorsports. Google them, go to their websites, donate or buy memorabilia and or calendars. And then another shout out to Jorge for running a Pinuts for Vets logo as well this week and supporting the cause and spreading the word.
Right on, man. Yeah, we got a good look at the 13. Had a really nice race. Unfortunately, it didn't end well. We might try to get a word with him here momentarily. But, Joe, we'll let you go celebrate this, and we'll see you back out here next week, bud.
All right. Appreciate it. Have a good one.
All right. You as well. Once again, folks, that was the driver of the 218 and your second place finisher tonight, Joe Thomas. Drafty, you're not going to believe who's waiting for us in the interview room.
Who would that be?
It's the 51 of Steve Harrison. Finished third on the night, and we've been wanting to talk to this guy about his paint since this thing began.
Yes, sir.
Steve, Joshua up in the booth. You got a copy, bud? Oh, don't tell me this isn't going to happen. Steve Harrison. Push to talk. Anything?
Loud and clear.
There he is. All right. Steve, we've been waiting to talk to you all season long for your paint. But now, before we talk to you about that, we're going to talk to you about the show you put on at the end of this thing. And you walked away getting a podium tonight. Third place finish. Congratulations. How's it feel, buddy?
It actually feels pretty really good. Had to thank my teammates for all the help they gave.
I mean, yeah, you were patient. We saw you a lot of times, kind of back and forth and just kind of waiting to make a move. Then we saw that bizarre incident wrap up more than half the field coming down the stretch there. Did you feel like you had a move, an opportunity to the outside, or did you want to go inside there to try to get the win?
I was wanting to go inside, but just couldn't get the pull from the cars in front.
Yeah, it's really challenging when you are limited down to a 4-car pack for the win there, right? If you jump outside, you probably don't have help because the other guy's trying to go inside. Or if you try to go inside, you might not get enough from the guy behind you. I don't know. But heck of a finish, man. Now, on to the most important thing that we wanted to talk to you about since the beginning. That paint job on the 51 is beautiful, man. Talk to us about it.
Well, me and Ryan Perone got together and we were discussing paint schemes. And I told him I wanted something totally different for the Xfinity car. And he was like, your nickname is Viper, so why don't we go with this route? And I was like, you do what you want to do.
Right on, man. Do you have any idea how long it took him to make that paint?
We were talked about it on a Wednesday, and he was done by Saturday.
Okay, so we might have to talk to Ryan, see how many hours exactly he might have put in on the 51 of Steve Harrison. Steve, congrats on the third place finish, sir. Before we let you go tonight, anyone you'd like to shout out or thank?
Yeah, I want to thank my teammates William Martin, Ryan Perron, Look Good Motorsports, rocking and rolling at the top of the points this week.
That's it?
Yes, sir.
All right, right on, man. I was waiting for a whole list. Most of these guys, man, 5 minutes later, I could go get a drink and come back. But appreciate you joining us, sir. Thank you once again. Congrats on getting the 51 a podium tonight, and that'll definitely do you some good in the points. You came in sitting ninth. Have to believe you'll probably be competing for the top 5 after this one.
I don't know with the 8X, it might be close.
Never know, man. You had a good finish, but go celebrate it. We'll see you back out here next week.
10-4, y'all have a good night, and thank you for putting on the show.
Yes, sir. You're going to enjoy it watching it back, I promise you. Once again, folks, that was the 51 of Joe Thomas, of Steve Harrison, rather, who joined us to talk about tonight's race and to talk about his paint, which we've wanted to do for a long time. So exciting to hear there. Drafty, we're going to have to get with Ryan Perron Sr. and see how much time he put into that. I'm surprised we're not interviewing him tonight. What the heck happened?
Right? Normally we are. And my apologies, because I knew it was an R name when he asked me earlier in the broadcast, and I said Rob Higgs, but that's wrong. It was Ryan Perron. So my
That's all right.
apologies, Ryan.
We got it squared away now. So let's get a word with the most important guy of the evening, and it's the 77 of Zach White, and he is your winner tonight. Zach, this is Joshua in the booth. You got a copy?
Yeah, we got a copy.
Man, Zach, you put on a good show at the end there, and probably expected a lot more action, someone trying to jump outside or inside on you for the win, but nevertheless, you walk away with the checkered flag and the trophy. How's it feel tonight, man?
It feels great. This is my first league win.
Oh, let's go. First league win. You heard it here first, folks, and you got to witness it on Royalty Racing Network for the 77 of Zach White. Man, that is awesome. How was the car feeling throughout the race? What was your strategy to put yourself in position to win?
Car was feeling good. I messed up my wrist, so I had to turn steering wheel way down. Didn't think I was going to do it much tonight, but we stuck in there. We got in both accidents. Had to use both our fast repairs, but in the end, that's all that matters. Last lap.
That's right, man. And we saw as we were watching the end back a little bit, your celebration, we saw on the tail end of the 77, there was some damage. You cut out briefly. Did you say you already had used both your fast repairs, or was that a strategy play to kind of just roll with it with the damage on the rear end?
I used both repairs, but that was after I got hit in the rear end after the cross finish line.
Gotcha. Okay. We weren't sure where exactly that came from. What was your play as far as strategy goes, Zach? We saw you pitted with a smaller group, I would say, on lap 52. What were you thinking now as you saw the basically half the field kind of spread out down in the closing laps?
So I was in that accident, the first one, so I was able to last a little longer. But I was like 4 seconds behind that pack, so I was like, I have to pit with them. Didn't really have a choice.
No, you didn't have a choice. And go ahead. Sorry.
Didn't expect to catch up to them, and then that group behind us is what really helps me get to the front.
Yeah, and we talked about it during the broadcast, how there were 3 guys at the time that had pitted on lap 5 that were in front of you guys, right? And there were like 3 in your group too. So we were saying, hey, they're pretty spread out, but if they want to have a chance at this thing, the 6 of them have to pit together. And that's exactly what we saw happen. And then we saw a late caution, which kind of stacked up everything else anyway. But you held on for the win, less than a tenth of a second over the 218 of Thomas. I mean, first league victory, man. How's it feel?
It feels great.
Still
Like my heart's
surprised.
racing.
Yeah, I could tell. Still shocked. But yeah, that's awesome. Drafty and I are both glad that we're a part of it. It's really cool to see that happen. And we remember our first league wins, of course, and they all are very special, but nothing is more special than the first one, in my opinion. So before we let you go, Zach, and get back to victory lane to pop the champagne, anyone you'd like to thank or shout out this evening?
I want to give a huge shout out to everybody putting on this league, and as well as you guys. You do great on YouTube. And for my dog, he wanted to play. He listened, so he kept pushing my arm.
So let me get this straight. You were driving one-handed tonight?
Yep, but he listened. He's only 9 months old. He listened. He went and laid down.
All right, good, good. Well, that's even more impressive, guys. Zach White in the 77 getting his first league win one-handed this evening for the most part. Well done, sir. Any sponsors you haven't mentioned that you'd like to shout out tonight?
Nope, I'm a one-man wrecking crew here.
One man. You can't say you can't be a wrecking crew now. You just got to win.
I didn't wreck nobody, so
No, exactly. Now you're the one-man show.
I'll take that.
All right, very good. The one-man show, the 77, Zach White. Go enjoy this victory. Pop the champagne, turn the broadcast back on, and watch yourself win it again, sir.
Will do.
Have a good night, man. Once again, folks, that was your winner joining us, Drafty. Man, woo, first league win. I know you remember yours. I definitely remember mine. Very clearly super excited and, hasn't really hit him yet. He's just kind of settling in, enjoying the victory. But, yeah, that's awesome for us to be a part of, man.
Yeah, I agree. I love doing this every week for this league, and especially this week, it's really nice to see their practice and hard work pay off with a really good race.
Yeah, it's starting to get there. We've mentioned it every week how it's definitely improved, right? The number of cautions hasn't always been less, but the racing product has always been better. And shout out to Mr. Shane King, who we talked to in the pre-race show. He does a lot for these guys every single week, right?
Oh, yeah. I mean, he does reviews with them. He's more than willing to help them out and get better and share his knowledge, and great guy.
Yeah, it's awesome to see a league like this and everyone. One of my favorite things, we mentioned it tonight when we were talking fuel strategy there midway through. There's no team chat, so no one's like split apart just to their teams. Everyone's mixed in together. It's like being at a barbecue joint where you just sit next to everyone else.
Exactly. You learn off each other that way, though.
Yeah, it's really, really cool and fun to watch. Great attitudes and really, really nicely done. I got to say, puts in the work and the effort. Awesome race tonight. So we're going to close out next week, though, back here at on Royalty Racing Network Monday night again at Talladega. Again, do you think we can follow up with as good or better of a race over there at Talladega?
I'm more than confident. Seeing what these guys did tonight, I think we're going to have another great race next week.
Yeah, I think we're going to have another good one too, man. Now, we Hold Your Brakes Academy might not be back till next Monday. Royalty Racing Network, folks, is back tomorrow night for the H&W Top Tier Truck Series. It is Championship Tuesday. Drafty, you looking forward to that one?
I am. It's been a very long season. I'm excited to get this one over with and start prepping for season 3 in the Gen 6.
Yeah, for those of you that don't know, Drafty is one of the admins of Top Tier Racing. He's also a member of Royalty Motorsports. It's been a long season in both regards, as an admin and as a driver for Royalty Motorsports. Not our best season, so that's why he says that. I'm sure he's looking forward to the time off. Me, though, I'm going to be broadcasting it tomorrow solo, and I cannot wait for Championship Tuesday in the H&W Electrical Truck Series. Looking forward to that. Then, Drafty, you're back here Wednesday night for the SCSRA Week 4 race. Do you know where they're at right offhand?
I believe it's Richmond, I want to say. Let me double
Let's
check.
look real quick here. Week 4. Yeah, you're right. Exactly right. 140 laps at Richmond. That should be a good one. Pocono race, not as exciting as we've seen from those guys before, but very clean racing. So you got to, sometimes you win with excitement, sometimes you win with cleanliness. But, Draft, do you got anything else to say before we close it out here?
No, just thank all the people that tune in every week and watch us. Greatly appreciate you chatting and hanging out with us this evening. We look forward to seeing you back here for more streams and races.
Yeah, well done, sir. For all of us at Royalty Motorsports and Royalty Racing Network, like Drafty said, we thank you all for your support on a weekly basis or even a nightly basis sometimes. Have a good rest of the day, evening rather, and a good day tomorrow. Hope to see you back here tomorrow night for Championship Tuesday. Good night.